So Steve, thanks for joining us, and the night after the night before, we've just had the lads in and picking over the bones of last night's match.
Yeah, we thought we needed to get a sort of like a look at it from another perspective, get the lads in, run the video. Thankfully they sent it to us today, and just really iron out a few things that obviously have been troubling us over the last month or so with regard to just individual errors, individual mistakes, that you really can't legislate for, and that was pretty evident in what we've just watched. So it's disappointing. I came out of the Gosport game, people saying, well, why didn't you enjoy the game more? You don't look as if you've really enjoyed the day. And it was twofold really. I mean, I knew losing Josh, obviously Ben Starr going, it then completely unbalanced the left hand side. You then can't play a 4 at the back. You've got to go to a 3, which is difficult, with the players we've got. The other injuries, obviously Tom was struggling with his toe. I know Marvin was still feeling his neck. Sam was recovering obviously from Saturday, and then you've got other players that are still trying to get themselves fit. So it was always going to be difficult. We knew they're not a bad side, but unfortunately we made life a lot harder for ourselves than we really should have. And there's some really poor individual decisions and individual errors that have counted towards us getting beat. Don't get me wrong, take nothing away from them, because they've still got to make the most of those opportunities. But I sat there and I watched the video today, and I think they've had 6 opportunities and scored 5. And we have contributed to every one of those goals. So there are certain areas that we certainly need to improve upon. That's decisions in the right areas, and we need to start games better. I know there was a huge emotional exchange sort of thing on Saturday with Gosport. There was a lot of emotions run high, and there was a lot of energy taken out of the lads, and I understand that. But it's been a bit of a focal point, is that the way that we've started games has not been great, and then we've conceded, and we've to chase games, and unfortunately last night we weren't able to catch up in that game, and I think it was one game too many. I think we've done it so many times before that this one was the one that just caught us out. So it's something we've looked at, and certainly something that we've got to improve upon.
The lads were really receptive and created mini debates between them, and it was all very productive.
Yeah. I mean, look, we've got, as we've just said, we've got 2 games coming up now, plus obviously Plymouth Parkway away. That's the thing about football; things can change very quickly, and we need to do that. We're fully aware that we need to get results sooner rather than later. A couple of good results, and go down to Plymouth and hopefully get something down there. And all of a sudden things look very, very different. If we don't get results in those 3 games, then you're looking at it and thinking, okay, certain things are going to need to change, and we're going to need to maybe take a different view on it.
Thank you very much, Steve.
Okay,
and we'll go again Saturday.
Will do.
So we're joined by Charlie Davis. Thanks for joining us, Charlie. Slightly reluctant. That was seemed a good meeting tonight, and the lads have kind of had a good look at each individual incident and gone through it all with the gaffer, and that must be helpful for you.
Yeah, definitely. I think when you're playing, you see things a lot more differently, and especially me over one side of the pitch, you see things from that perspective. So to see it all together and sort of gain other people's views, the gaffers and the coaching staff, and also the other players, how they see things happening in games, is obviously a positive thing for us to all be going towards sort of the same goal, which is ultimately what we need to do going forward. So yeah, it's positive.
And so what was your take on what we just witnessed?
Yeah, it's disappointing. It's embarrassing to an extent that some of the mistakes that we're making as players, myself for the 5th goal, hold my hand up for that, and I think as players we've got to start taking ownership of these mistakes, because we can play all the formations in the world and play who we want to play, but if we keep giving away goals individually and as units on the pitch, then it's only down to the 11 that's on the pitch, and we need to start holding our hands up, and we're willing to work hard to put it right, and we want to do that on Saturday, because it has to stop, and like we've mentioned, I think last night was probably a bridge too far in terms of too many mistakes that have caught up with us, and that result was probably coming if we were going to keep doing what we did. So we as players have got to try and change that.
That's the only way you're going to improve, is being slightly self-critical, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
Excellent. Cheers, Charlie.